Okay, here we are still at day 7. We're looking at the roof interior inspection and the doors interior inspection. We could probably, well, it looks like the doors interior is going to take a little while. We'll see, maybe do them both at once. We're going to inspect the overhead for damage, alignment, and properly secured. We're going to inspect the whiskey compass, the housing, the mounting connection, and the wiring. We're going to inspect the door-to-ceiling junction panels for damage and misalignment. We're going to look for the doors, the door skins for damage and wear, door trim for damage and wear, and ensure that they are secured to the door skin. The window ledges and dog legs. We're going to look at the window rear isolation panels that are secure and properly positioned. We talked about those in an earlier video. We're going to look at the armrests for damage, wear, and alignment. We're also going to inspect the armrest courtesy accent lighting is functional and secure and properly oriented. We're going to inspect the door pocket for damage and alignment, inspect the door pocket trim and mounting tabs for damage, wear, and light intrusion. We're going to inspect the ventilation system louvers are secure, properly aligned, and free of dust and debris. We're going to inspect the ventilation system mounting flange for damage, wear, and misalignment, and disassemble, clean, and dust if necessary. So we've got a lot to do. Here's the overhead. So it sits on here. It's got little braces that go across, have some mounting screws that go through the center rib up here at the top. And this is some mesh from like a speaker grill. And this is just some poster board right here. The trim looks okay. It's decently aligned. It hasn't lost alignment or anything. It's not moving. It moves a little bit right here, but that's okay because it's supposed to. In case you hit your head on the ceiling, it actually can move a little bit, so it doesn't break anything. Okay, so let's check out the whiskey compass, the housing, mounting connection, and wiring. So this is made out of a broken yard light. And there's the wiring that goes up through the roof. Housing looks good. It seems secure. It's just a screw that comes down through the center rib that comes down into this. There's a hole on top of that just happened to be the right size for a screw, or I don't remember if I used a wood screw or something. And then I took the cover off, and then I made this paper overlay, and then I took the insides out, and I made a holder for the OLED display there, and then I glued that into place, put the holder back in, and then put the paper over there. So now I have a compass card. It's not filled in because I'm not sure that there's any compass deviation built into the sim. So that's something that I'm going to be checking out to see how accurate it is here. And this was the base for a little plastic thing that held a knob for some stereo speakers, and I took that off and I screwed it to the bottom because I tried at first setting it here on the dash, and then you can see this little hole that the wires went down in, but because of it sitting so high and whatnot, that when you're driving down a narrow taxiway, it would obscure your vision so that you couldn't actually see the taxiway going off to the right there if you're sitting in the left seat. So I found that I put it up here and it didn't obscure my view anywhere at all anymore, and it was easy to look at, to reference, and it didn't bother me at all. So that's what I decided to stick with. Okay, so we looked at that, and what else are we supposed to be looking at here? And the door-to-ceiling junction panels for damage and misalignment. Okay, so that's these things right here, these panels right here. So this one does have a little bit of damage on it. It looks like it's aligned okay. I don't see any real light coming through there or anything. So that looks good. It seems to be secure on there. It's just held with some Velcro in the back. You're going to see on the pilot side, because it's a different story. I know that there's a problem with this one. As you can see, there's a sizable gap here. And there's also, this needs to be trimmed off because it's too long. And you see it's just bent over there when it hits the edge of the display. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here, and we'll discover what the problem is. Remember I said they were held on with Velcro. Well, the front, that really didn't need it on this one because it's such a tight fit, but the back one definitely does. And I have tried every glue known to glue that onto here, and that button just keeps coming off. And there it is, stuck to this one. And you can see the glue all over it. This hot glue, I tried hot gluing it. I've tried Elmer's glue. I have to find a way to keep it because, believe it or not, the vibration knocks this thing down quite often. It just won't stick. I don't know what it is about this particular cardboard, but it just does not want to take glue. Now it's supposed to fit up in there like that. Here, and we can look at the other from the other side. We'll look at it from here. See, and it just tilts up, and that's where it engages right there. And then it wedges in the bottom. There's these little tabs here that fit over the gussets, the ribbing, or whatever you would want to call it. These right here. So it makes sure it stays in the same place every time. And then there's little pieces that hang down in the back that kind of sandwich it, and it gives it some support, some rigidity, and it's supposed to lock it up into place like that one. I've never had a problem with that one, but this one has given me fits since day one. So, I don't know. That's weird. So I'm going to have to repair that, and I'm going to have to cut the little end off of that. Okay, so we're just going to trim this little edge right here off. Just like that. That should be good. I just used the line that it was bent on. You know, most of this project was basically just advanced arts and crafts. So, alright, so now we got to see about attaching this. Don't you love my leopard print pillow here? Okay, so that glue should be dried. Let's go ahead and put it back in. I just used single-use super glue. Okay, that looks a little bit better. At least it's not hitting that anymore. So, and we do have some damage right here, but that was when I made it. I used a dull blade when I was cutting the cardboard, so I didn't want to make another one. But, so that looks like it's okay. See, it's fitting up in there pretty good. See, that one's fitting up in there pretty good. It's nice and tight. You don't see any light coming through it. So that looks good. Let's continue on with the doors. Okay, so I'm just looking to skin here. Just start right here. Everything looks good. The trim seems tight. These are actually functional, so you can actually rest your arm on them. They're a little bit wobbly, but they don't actually move up or down, so that looks good. Looks like they're all fitting tight here. You can hear the Velcro under there. The dog legs. This one needs to be, I need to put something behind it, as you can see it moves. And that's where I keep the mouse behind it. I just sort of hide it back in there. There's like a little cavity, and I can hide the mouse back in there. That looks good. Here's the rear isolation panel. We talked about that earlier. Look at the trim down here. It looks like it's secured. Everything there. The door pockets. That piece on the back that we looked at earlier, that keeps it so that the door pocket doesn't really move in or out. It does a little bit here. It's made out of a pallet slip, so it's like super thin cardboard on top of it. It's just really but it's the right size. So, and these are made out of cardboard too. We looked at the tabs that hold them on in the back earlier. And the courtesy lighting, where is it? There it is. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. Don't see anything wrong with it. Everything looks fine. So we'll move on to the next one here. Look down here at the kick panels. Everything looks good. Everything looks good there. See, this one moves a lot more when you're messing with it. It's the puke bag, because sometimes people don't handle this experience all that well. So I got an old sectional chart in there. See a lot of dirt and debris down there on the floor, so I'm going to have to get the vacuum in after that. Everything else here looks pretty good. Let's check out our vent here. So this just comes off. It just comes off. I can get at the fan back here to clean it without taking the whole thing off. So that's kind of cool. And then the other one over here, let's look at that. Let's take the cover off. Doesn't look too bad. I did clean it recently, but it looks like it really could use to be cleaned again. And that fan is a little bit dirty there, but you know what? I think it'll be fine until the 100-hour, or why do I keep saying that? The annual. Put that back in there. I'm supposed to check the mounting flange here. It looks like it's secure and in the right place. So these just pop out as a whole module. I can just unplug them out of the back and just pop the whole darn thing out of there if I need to disassemble it. So that's the doors on the interior and the ceiling. Everything looks good.